Hi everybody, my name's Lily and I am the book reviewer behind Utopia State of Mind, and today I'm going to be chatting about Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man. If you haven't seen my series, which I will link down below, I predicted this as a 5-star read, and so I'm just following up on my feelings about this book, which I read last month. I think. If you're not familiar, this is a sequel to Vera Wong's Guide to Unsolicited Murders, I think is what it's called. And so that one is kind of everyone's cozy mystery cup of tea, or at least my cozy mystery cup of tea. Basically, this is not, this is kind of a, it's weird because timeline wise, it is a direct sequel, but you could probably read this one without the first one. I wouldn't though, because one of my favorite elements from this book was the found family that Vera continues to create, and it is very much true in the second book. And because if you haven't read the first one, you won't be familiar with everything that they've gone through and who everyone is and what their relations are to each other. I think that it would be much better if you read the first one and then the second one. And I think that's honestly a lot of people's way that they will approach this series anyway, but I just wanted to mention that as well. I will give sort of a trigger warning on this one because Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man has sort of a more intense emotional aspect to it. I gauge this basically because I've been sharing book recommendations with my mom, and this one definitely hit harder than the first one. I would say that this one, because it has themes of trafficking, specifically child trafficking in this one, which the author does address in an author's note. I'm not sure if it's necessarily in the finished copy, but it at least was in the ARC. Because of that, I do feel like specifically towards the end, it gets really, really emotionally intense. And while both books obviously are dealing with murder and those kinds of themes, because of it being so connected, it just feels really kind of heavy at some points. So I would definitely go into this one knowing that. I think that's my main caveat to this to the sequel to the second book for it, is that the tone doesn't hit as cozy as the first one. So if you've come off the first one and you're ready to kind of jump into the coziness, this is not as cozy, specifically towards the end. If you're coming into it though because you want a good mystery and because you love Vera as a character, those are going to be things that are still consistent within this book. Vera is just so cute. I love the way that she's able to be succinct, wise, to the point. Vera is such a great character, and I also love the found family that is created, that Vera creates around her, and the way she's able to take care of people and allow them to be vulnerable and open up to her. So I think those two, and to me, that's at the core of Vera Wong books and Vera as a character. So if you're looking for that, I think that that is definitely in this book. But I did want to utter that caveat because, as I said, hit harder for my mom, and so I think a lot of readers will also feel that way. This similarly is a multiple perspective installment, just like the first one, and I think that also means that it hits a little bit heavier. I'm not going to go into too intense spoilers, but I think compared with the themes and the multiple perspectives and being able to really see behind someone's eyes and their perspective, it just makes it a little bit more intense. And so that's why I would kind of just go into that with a little bit more. I think that, so I was expecting it to be 5 stars, and I do think it was somewhat close. It's weird. I'm hesitant to say yes, 100% 5 stars. For me, it kind of lands a little bit like 4.5. I think it's because the first one to me was kind of the epitome of what I think of as cozy mystery. And this one, as I said, the tone was just different. And because of that, I went into it kind of expecting the tone to be the same, and it wasn't. And that's okay. I think that it didn't detract from the story. I really enjoyed it nevertheless. But I do think that because of that, I wouldn't necessarily give it the full 5 stars. For me, it's kind of like a 4.5. I did mention it in my April wrap up because I do mention things that are 4.5 and above. But I just wanted to mention that because I know that I've talked so much about Vera Wong. And so for anyone who's kind of been exposed to that through me, I wanted to specifically make a video about that and this so that other future readers are aware of that before they jump into that. Why I also wanted to make this video is because I feel like this sequel kind of crystallizes some ideas I've had in my mind about tone, and specifically tone in sequels. I think that we can think so much about a first book and what it's like and how much we love it and stuff. And I do think some days I'm on one side, some days I'm on the other side. Either some days I'm on the side where, if the readers are going into a series expecting a certain tone, then I think that it is valid for readers to keep expecting that tone. And on the other hand, obviously series characters, writers continue to develop, explore, and evolve, and so we should also be sort of cognizant of that as well. My caveat for Vera Wong, though, is because we're seeing more of these cozy put on more kind of genre, so cozy fantasy, cozy romantasy, cozy mystery, cozy sci-fi, and I've obviously been guilty of using that as well. Cozy to me denotes a certain type of tone expectation, and it's not only me that said cozy mystery, okay? I did not come up with this, or cozy fantasy or cozy sci-fi or whatever, but to me, because of that, it denotes a certain tone. And so for me, I guess Vera Wong's Guide to Unsolicited Murders to me is cozy mystery, and Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on Dead Man is more mystery than it is coziness. I think you're getting the coziness vibes from the found family and the character development, but to be fair, I feel like those kinds of things are definitely necessary in terms of the mystery genre, or in terms of writing good books. Like every good book should have good character development, good, interpersonal relationships. Not everyone has found family, but they should have great side characters. Whereas I feel like the cozy tagline to me rings truer in the first one, because while there are murders and whatever, it's so distanced from it. It's been a while, I will admit, since I read the first one, but to me, at least in my distant memory, after reading whatever 300 books since then, is that while there is this mystery element, while there is that murder element, things feel a little bit distant. Not only do we not really read the perspective of the victim in that sense, but also the people who are in their lives. They have secrets, just like in Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on Dead Man, just like everyone has secrets. But it feels a little bit more personal, and the sort of, I'm worried about my secrets coming out. And also, no one seems super cut up about the first mystery or the first murder, whereas the second one hits a lot different, hits a lot more closer to home. The multiple perspective just means that you just feel it more intensely. That's obviously the author's intention, but I just feel like a little bit hesitant about attaching cozy mystery to Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on the Dead Man, and so that's kind of why I wanted to make this video as well. As we see genres and stuff change and develop and evolve, I'm intrigued to see what the expectations are. For example, in a romance book, you're expecting a happy ending, right? That's a huge genre expectation. And so when you're getting into these romantasies, when you're getting into these cozy X, cozy Y, cozy Z, I'm trying to kind of figure out, what do people really expect from that, right? So for example, I'm not going to talk too much about romantasy because this is not the video for that. But for example, in a romantasy, it's not just kind of a fantasy world where there's romance, right? We see a ton of fantasy worlds where there are romances, tons of fantasies. To me, romantasy is much more different. It's kind of a perfect merging of romance and fantasy. It's not just a fantasy with a strong romantic subplot. It's more than that. And so simultaneously, as we see more and more kind of cozy whatever, genre mashups, genre whatever, it's also worth noting to see when things don't conform or when things don't go to our expectations, what people's different expectations are, so that we can get a better sense when we're using it, when we're recommending it. That's what I think about what our recommendations, what those taglines mean to certain people. So, long-winded explanation, but that's also why I wanted to chat about Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on Dead Man. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, as I said earlier in the video, Vera, the side characters. It's really great to see them kind of evolve and explore. So that's just a quick mini review. Prepare to see more kind of mini reviews on the channel in the future. I'm going to be filming a bunch actually today with some spicy thoughts. But I'm kind of loving doing kind of more in-depth video reviews. I don't know if anyone else is, so please let me know down below if you are, and also let me know down below if you've already read Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man and what your thoughts are. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!